Chef Curtis Duffy hardly needs an introduction, but let's do it anyway. His career traces a remarkable path through modern American fine dining, Charlie Trotter's Trio, Alinea, Avenues, Grace, and now Ever and After. Didn't have that. Along the way, he helped launch Alinea, earned 2 Michelin stars at Avenues, 3 Michelin stars at Grace, and currently holds 2 Michelin stars at Ever in Chicago. He's a James Beard Award winner, the subject of the documentary For Grace, and most recently, the author of Fireproof. Back here. A memoir that explores both the personal tragedy that shaped him and the relentless pursuit of excellence that followed. More recently, Florida has become part of his story. Splitting time between Chicago and Florida, he has developed a growing connection to our state. Welcome to the chef.
Thank you.
To the Glad chef, to the Whet Palette Podcast.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
I guess I should just call it the Chef Palette Podcast because interview.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start right off the bat because I didn't want to get into the whole timeline. Everyone should read the book first.
Sure,
of all.
yeah, you have to read
the book. But I feel like everyone knows who you are already. But I do, once I was reading the book, and there's so many things that stood out to me. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was Ruth.
Yes, of course.
And so tell me about the time, tell the listeners about that time in your life with her, why that was important, and what you wish you could tell her today.
Well, I met Ruth when I moved to Ohio in 6th grade. And she became an instant, almost mother figure to me. She's one of the most incredible people that is currently still in my life. And we communicate, we talk regularly.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we do. And it's like she was there when a time and place that I needed somebody outside of the family. She was always there in classroom. She created this environment, this culture that was kind of like a safe zone for me. Well, probably for more than just me, probably a lot of kids too, what was in my class. But mostly I felt that every day walking into that class. For 45 minutes, it was a sense of peace for me. And such an incredible time for the next 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I spent really enjoying my time in Ruth's class.
Which she taught what?
It was home ec class. When, it's home ec class. And I don't even know if they offer that today, but it was a variety of cooking, sewing, ironing, things that I use every single day in my life today. So very, very basic things, but ironically, we use them every single day. You don't even think about it.
So one of the things that you did there wasn't necessarily cooking. One of the main things you started learning was sewing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sewing, ironing, like I said, and I use those every day. Maybe not every day, but throughout life, I've used those. And every time I pick up an iron, I think of Ruth. And every time I pick up, to fix a shirt, maybe fix some thread, Ruth is right there with me.
Do you still have any of those things that you made back then?
No.
The bag that you said you made?
No, I did make a skateboard backpack, a large bag to carry a skateboard back then. And she actually purchased the material for me because we couldn't afford the material, which was incredibly special. No, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those things, but I have great memories. So I guess that's all that matters.
Has she been to your restaurant?
She has been to Grace. Hasn't been to Ever yet. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. I didn't realize that she was still part of your life.
Yeah. She came to the opening night of Grace and unfortunately hasn't been able to make it back to Chicago since.
She lives in Ohio?
She lives in Ohio,
She still lives in Ohio. Okay, changing topics. Charlie Trotter's Trio, Alinea, those kitchens were known for intensity, as is the type of fine dining that you do. What is one lesson from that era that you still use every day, and one lesson you've intentionally left behind?
Well, for me, like those kitchens bring the positive and the negative, right? There's every restaurant you work in, you have to choose as a young cook to take what you want to take and leave what you want to leave. And I think that's so important. And even through personal life as well, and personal development through mentors or other people that you're surrounded with, right? You're always taking the good from other people as well as you're leaving the bad, and you're learning the good and bad from other people as well. And I always applied that in the restaurant world where it's, with Charlie, he was so in touch with the farmers and he drove home that relationship idea is to have and maintain those relationships with those farmers and foragers and, the fishmongers, the people that are bringing the food into the back of the restaurant. So that's something I've adopted from him. And with Grant at Trio and Alinea, it was always about, trying to look at food from a different aspect, really just trying to see, if it's a piece of fennel, trying to see something other than just a piece of fennel, and how to explore that creative side of the dining side of it, and giving the guests something that's unexpected in a way.
As you successfully do.
Well, we try to. I always feel like it's a responsibility for myself is, give the guest some familiarity, where it has to be something on the plate that you can connect with, and it doesn't take you too far away from the food world, and you're able to understand where it comes from and what you're eating. So you're not so far out of the box that you actually lose the idea of, the guests actually lose the idea of what they're eating. They don't understand it. They can't connect with it. And then all of a sudden, it's not so meaningful anymore.
What's one thing you would leave behind from that era?
I think
maybe
I think a lot of chefs have, and it's that culture of, that angry chef, that's relentlessly throwing pots and pans and pushing and getting things accomplished through the more brutal side of the food and wine world. Whereas, I learned early on that you can get things accomplished that way, but you can also get things accomplished by communicating properly and doing it in a way that you'd want to be spoken to as well. So I learned that very on because, you learn from the mentors that you work with, and you slowly adapt that. And all of a sudden, maybe you're the guy that's yelling and screaming, not realizing it, but that's because you don't know any different. And the sooner you can catch that and figure that out and start to change the way you manage and guide your cooks and staff, I think the better off you're going to be. And I learned that early on because I was catching myself being that guy, and I don't want to be that guy. So
now with the new kitchens, a lot of the high 2-3 star Michelin kitchens have the open kitchen.
Sure.
So it makes it a little harder to throw a pan anyway. and
it's
scream and curse. I guess you could do it under your breath.
Because you have Rene Redzepi who got canceled and he had to leave his restaurant empire.
Noma 3.0.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, you have people on TV. And we glorify it, and it's okay.
Right.
But when we do it in real life,
all
of a sudden it's not okay.
You're right.
So what are we doing here?
You're right.
Which one is it?
You're right.
It's not right. So
it's funny when it's on TV, becomes a meme when it's on TV.
Of course.
But then when you hear about it in real life, it's, what do you mean?
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Grace became one of the most celebrated restaurants in America. What did Grace teach you that ever could not have existed without one specific thing?
Developing the culture, developing the team. I think Grace gave me the opportunity to refine my team, and understand how each individual works, and understand that you can talk and speak to somebody one way, and they are very receptive to that. And you can talk to and speak to the person beside them the same way, and you get nothing from them. So understanding that you have to treat each individual completely different. So when you have 60 employees like we do, you're talking 60 different personalities that you have to constantly adapt and change and understand how you're going to get the best out of each one of them employees to better the restaurant, to better the guest experience is the ultimate goal, right? And to achieve that is to get each individual chef, each individual sommelier team, the wine team, the service team to understand that, and getting the best out of each one of them is critical. And it's the way that we speak to each other, the way we talk to each other. And that, I think, Grace allowed me to help and refine that to put me in a better position forever.
Now, the build out forever took how many years? And it was
A little over a year and a half or so.
Okay.
We obviously fell into the pandemic when we were in mid-construction, which put a screeching halt to a lot of things, from product to
Life.
just people showing up to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do we navigate through that? So it was pretty challenging.
And I bring that up because that build out to me is spectacular.
Oh, thank you.
So, I mean, it's stunning. I was briefly talking to you a little while ago about that entrance that I think is so stunning. If you haven't watched it or looked at pictures, or maybe you don't want the spoiler, but when I went, the entrance was narrow and winding, and you just didn't know where you were headed to and what was at the end of that little road. But you told me now that it's different. What is different? You changed it.
Yeah, now it's completely changed. Before, the idea of the entranceway was to build anticipation to the restaurant. It was also built to kind of give the guest some moment of relaxation, right? To time to take a moment and take a pause. I know when I go to restaurants of certain calibers, maybe I'm a little anxious or nervous or excited, and that entranceway is like there's a lot going on. Like you're stepping into the castle, if you will.
That's why I use the Game of Thrones music for my entrance.
So it could be overwhelming for a guest, and we want to take that away from you as quick as possible because we want you to enjoy your experience. So,
but in an exciting way.
An exciting way,
The anticipation of where are you headed?
Where are we going? Why aren't we just
a hallway and
down?
a door, right?
Yeah. Now it's like we're going to take you through this small little journey and give you a bite of food and maybe a small cocktail, whether it's a non-alcoholic or a glass of champagne, to kind of just take a chill, get you away from the bustling city a little bit, and just have a moment before we sit down. Now we've changed a little bit. We've changed the entire direction of the restaurant. So now you enter in and you're immediately offered a non-alcoholic beverage that we change daily. And then you're guided through the kitchen. So before the exit of the restaurant was through the kitchen, I would say good night to the guest and say goodbye. But now I get to say hello to them.
Kitchen, and because I had the private room in the back, that's why, because I walked through the kitchen at first.
Yeah. So we walk every guest through the kitchen. We give them kind of like a sneak peek of what is going on in the kitchen and how the chefs operate and some of the ins and outs. And, some of the guests that are a little bit more ambitious start to ask a lot of questions, and some are just like, oh God, what's going on? And they want to sit down quickly.
Oh.
So the exit now, which used to be the entrance, is a candy parlor, if you will. So it's a long hallway, but it's designed in a way to kind of build anticipation because you don't know where you're going as you exit, because you don't exit the same way. So you enter upon that same room, which we call the Ma room. It's just, we turned it an entire Candyland.
Willy Wonka dream.
Candyland. Yeah, there's stuff hanging from the ceiling. There's beautiful vases of, 25 different candies in there that, we offer you a small bag to fill up and take whatever you want to take. Much candy as you want. It's a lot of fun.
You have to end.
It's nostalgic,
on that.
right? It takes you back to childhood, and everybody sees this. And who's not happy in a candy room? From childhood all the way to adults. Yeah, exactly. All the way to adults are there. Everybody's excited to be in that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to ask you my next question because
I'm very nervous.
No, we kind of talked about it a little while ago. I'm obsessed with. I've always been obsessed and fascinated, maybe because just the fine dining nature, the detail that goes into things that most people sometimes don't even notice or overlook. And one of the things I noticed when dining at Ever was a choreographed water pour.
Sure.
So we're seated, 3 guests here, and I was on the other side, and I'm talking as I usually do, and I look over and I'm noticing that the team is pouring water, but at the same time, and they all looked at each other and they all filled all glasses to the same level, and they all looked and stopped and picked it up at the same time and then walked away. And nobody around me noticed it. And then I stood there and I said, "Did you guys see that? The water pour was choreographed," and everyone thought I was crazy. But you confirmed that it was a thing, or is a thing.
It is a thing, but it is a thing. But I also say great service is service that's unseen.
I just
things arrive without even noticing.
That did happen throughout the dinner.
Those are great moments too. But specifically, the water pour is to kind of set the tone of the night. Like, this is who we are. This is a statement. This is what the service team is about, and this is what is to expect throughout the rest of the night.
But then my other question, because, inquiring minds and I'm a curious person, how many times is that rehearsed? Because you don't just do that. I mean, you have to rehearse that.
Well, you
don't just do it at the same level.
It is. I mean, it's they do this. Imagine they do this 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
Anywhere from
Amazing.
20 to 25 tables a night. And, it's constant. It's the constant idea of we're always training. We're always trying to be better. And the front staff is always like 2:00. They're in there training. They're in there, mocking service as if service was going through. Jack Nicklaus once said his best rounds of golf were played before he stepped onto the course.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes that approach is necessary because you get in that mindset at 2:00 in the afternoon. What's that going to be like at 5 p.m. when we open the doors? You're going to be ready to play. And that's what it should be about.
Right. It shouldn't feel like you're just stepping on the field at that moment.
Absolutely not.
Right.
It's not a light switch.
And we did wonder a lot of times if there was a camera on us or if there was an audio recording, because
there's all of that.
There's
No.
Yes, there is. No, my friend, one of the things that happened, the typical, she's cold. And remember, we were in the PDR, so the door just magically opened and someone comes in with a pashmina. And I'm thinking, no way. How did they know she was cold?
Yeah. I mean, it's something we've always say to the staff is eyes open, ears open.
Microphones and cameras.
Listen and watch. Just pay attention to the guest.
Yeah.
They can give off so many signs that we can read, that we can anticipate that guest needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, how the hell did they know that? Just like you just said, how did they know I was cold? And they brought me a pashmina.
Yeah. It wasn't me. I'm always hot. But
oh, you're from Miami. So yeah.
From Miami, always hot. Yes. So I imagine the little secret like hand signals behind too. Like
no, none of that.
None of that.
No. I mean, just maybe one of these moments that's really means just I need help.
I need help. Yeah.
Other than that, we're not doing. We're not throwing gang signs behind us. No, none of that.
Some restaurants do that. And then I know a restaurant person that does this means I need to talk to you. Like, get over here.
Yeah, for us it means if somebody's standing beside a table and they're like this, they're trying to get someone else to look at them and go, hey, this table needs cleared. We need help on this table.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that part of service. So what are your next goals forever?
Well, I've always set daily goals, and every single day it's about being better within those 4 walls. And I don't pay too much attention with what is going on outside of those 4 walls in terms of the restaurant world. I think we focus 100% on just trying to be better every single day. And obviously we want to eventually maintain and get to our 3rd star, as I believe ever we'll get there at some point. It's just a matter of time. And it's, for us, it's just about refining every single day and just trying to really hone in on everything that we know and everything we can do to be better. And eventually we'll get there.
Let's talk about the bear.
Okay, sure.
And let's talk about the bear and the bear.
Yeah.
Who was the bear in your life?
Bear was my father, and relentlessly so. He was just that, the bear. He was a bear. And obviously the TV show, The Bear. And
how did that, talk to the listeners about how that came to be and your impact in that and the filming, just the whole journey?
Yeah. Someone, I don't know who it was, said, hey, I saw Grace was on The Bear. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. They had filmed, I don't know what episode it was, but it was season 1 episode, maybe 1 or 2. But they were filming that scene in the old Grace kitchen where Joel MacGyver's in Jeremy White's ear, just telling him how terrible of a chef he was. And so all of that, I'm like, oh, that is Grace. I had no idea they were filming there. So they were looking for season 2. They were looking for a beautiful aesthetic kitchen as Grace was as well. Not sure how they came across ever or how the contact came about, but they reached out to the restaurant and said, hey, we'd love to come in and film. So they showed up, maybe, 8 to 12 people with them to kind of scout the restaurant. And we walked them around, walked them through the dining room, every aspect of the restaurant. And Courtney Storer, one of the producers, she's like, "Chef, I want exactly this." And we were standing in the kitchen at the time. And I said, "Courtney, I said, you realize we're getting ready for our Saturday night service. We have 80 people tonight. And you want this?" She's like
now?
"I want exactly this. Can we do this?" I said, "We can certainly do that." So they hired all the cooks to fill in as the actors. They wanted to use the food that we were currently producing on the menu. So it made my job pretty easy. And it made me, made all of my cooks easy because they already knew what they were doing. They didn't really have to act as if. It was just a matter of, all right, start prepping.
But you also said that that was one of the things you wanted control over, how the food was shown on the show. It
was important for the episode that we were going to be featured in, that I wanted to make sure that the food was, for me, I'm very particular way I want it to look aesthetically and on film. So I wanted to have a heavy hand in producing that. And, they brought me on to consult for that few episodes that we were in. And, we produced all the food that we are currently serving in the restaurant. So it was a great experience. And so that team is phenomenal.
So they filmed that night and then?
No, we closed the restaurant for 2 weeks. So
but they didn't film that night.
No, not that night. They came back. That was just kind of like
okay.
They wanted to see if it was going to work. Of course, it worked. I had to go back and watch the whole entire first season before I signed the contract because I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm like, I haven't watched The Bear, unfortunately. It's like I live that every day. Why do I want to watch it?
Yeah.
So I went back and watched the whole season, fell in love with the show, and I said, absolutely, I'd love to be a part of it. And here we are.
And you were able to watch it because a lot of my chef friends said they get PTSD watching it, that they can't even get through a whole season because it's like their real life on camera again. So
yeah, that's a little dramatic, but
right, it's over drama. Of course, it's TV.
It's TV, so
I know.
But there is some drama in there. But I mean, I don't know. You can relate to it. I don't think it's gonna.
How much of the realness do you think? Well, obviously, I know it gets very intense. And how much of it do you think was very Hollywood?
I would say 90% of it is real. And another 10% Hollywood. There was those moments of Hollywood where everything is a little dramatized out more. But I've always said, like, The Bear has done an incredible job to really showcase our industry. And I also would say, like, they did an incredible job of showcasing the city of Chicago. There's a lot of video, not a lot of videos, but there's a lot of movies and TV shows that have shot here in the city that you can't really tell that it's in Chicago. The Bear completely, it made you proud to live in the city because we were so proud of, one, being part of The Bear, but then also being part of this great city and seeing, the skyline and all these moments
where
you're
sights
like,
and sounds.
You're like, you know exactly where all of those places are. If you live in the city, you're like, I know exactly. I've been there 100 times.
That's cool. Yeah, I do get that feeling too. Fine dining has always fascinated filmmakers, obviously, and television writers. Why do you think people are so drawn to stories about chefs and Michelin-starred restaurants?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm not sure why. I mean, I try to think back to when the Food Network first came on the scene.
It was more like cooking
and
stuff.
Really, and this was obviously after, James Beard had the cookbook series and, all the Julia Child and Yin Can Cook and all of those great chefs as well. But when the Food Network kind of hit it mainstream, I think people started to become more aware of where the food was coming from and became more interested in food. And I think that's when that shift changed from a chef of like my caliber, just the daily grind, to then all of a sudden you're now this iconic celebrity, if you will, which seems weird to me as a chef. Like, we're not saving lives. We're not doing anything other than transforming some beautiful product into maybe something a little bit greater than what it started with. But other than that, I mean, I don't know the fascination.
I guess also, yeah, it has to have been when like Bravo, Food Network, all those things just really lifted it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I think for Michelin specifically, like I said, I'm obsessed with like the details and just the logistics behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know how people go to a restaurant of that caliber and just eat and walk out and not wonder how did from point A to like Z, like how did this come to be? I always want to know, like, but that's just
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people walk out of there with their own opinions. Certainly, they're not shy of them.
but they don't notice. Like, it drives me crazy. Like, did you notice that they just folded your napkin and, oh yeah, that's nice.
Or brought you a brand new one every single time.
As it should be. Not touching it. It should be, I don't hate when they touch it, but
right.
Little things. Okay, let's switch to Fireproof. How did writing Fireproof come to be?
Well, my dear friend Jeremy Wagner and I, he's an incredible writer, and he writes a lot of horror novelties, and I thought, part of my story is somewhat horrid, and what a great opportunity for have Jeremy write something of that without it being sugar coated, and we wanted to write a book that was 100% honest, and it went into great detail beyond what some people saw in For Grace, the documentary, because that was just a small glimpse of my life. And then, of course, I wanted to write this book because I wanted to tell my story, but also it wasn't 100% focused on my parents' death. That's just a small chapter, but I wanted to talk about the dedication to a craft and being fully committed to something in your life to try to be great at something, and tell the story that you can come from a shitty past and you can come from terrible things happen in your life, but it's the way you choose to navigate those instances in your life to shift them into the positive. Everybody can sit back and be a victim. Everybody can sit back and say, "Woe me," and this and that, but you have that opportunity to also channel that into something positive and something and great, and do something great with your life. That should be just a speed bump in your life as it unfolds, right? It shouldn't stop you in your tracks, and that's where you stop.
One of my favorite parts of the book is when you say, when you just walking away and you were like hell bent, like, I am breaking the cycle. I am not going to repeat the same cycle of your past and your family. Can you briefly describe what it was, that traumatic past, for those who don't know?
Well, I think for me, it's the abuse. It's verbal abuse and physical abuse. And, it's like I said earlier, it is, you do what you learn, you do what you're taught. And at a young age, when that's all you know, what do you think is going to happen when you get older and you have children? Like, that's how my parents did it, so that's the way I'm going to do it. And I when I had children, I thought, like, I couldn't possibly think of laying a hand on any one of my children. I couldn't even fathom that. Sitting here thinking about that now gets me choked up. Like, I couldn't possibly do that. And I don't know how my parents or many parents could do that to their children. These are the people that you love. And it's like, it's beyond, it's beyond my thought process. So I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not going to continue this cycle, because I've watched people very close to me do the same thing and continue that cycle. And I don't understand how they don't break it, how they can't break it.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank
because,
you.
It's not easy. And once you read the book, you'll realize this is more than just a Cuban grandma chancleta, okay? This is not what we're talking about. The chancletas in Cuban households still fly. I know you know about that.
They'll hit you anywhere you're standing. I know about it. Trust me, my wife's Cuban.
I know.
So
that's why I know you were going to get what I was going to say.
She'll throw a chancleta at you and hit you from across the room.
So the chancleta is, kind of exempt, I think. We kind of know about the chancleta. But no, we're talking about very, very serious situations in your life.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself while you were writing the book that maybe surprised you and you weren't expecting, because you're probably thinking, I'm just going to say my life and talk about it and we're done. But then maybe things that maybe made you pause and say, wait.
I mean, I learned an incredible amount. I learned a lot about myself. I learned about how many stories I've had buried underneath the rug, and how that you bury them and you ironically completely forget about them. Like, it wouldn't even, I'd have to check myself to say, did that really happen? And there's
compartmentalize, maybe.
Yeah, you had to, because there was many moments. Ironically, I tell the story, like, a lot of these stories would come about when I would be on a long flight. Either could be to Miami, it could be somewhere where I'm traveling, but a lot of these moments would be in flight when a story would pop into my head as to, and I don't know what triggers it. I don't know if it's the altitude. I have no idea, but it's those
maybe
moments.
pausing because you live a very hectic life. So that's a moment where you're actually pausing. They say a lot of our best thoughts come or ideas come when you're showering and things like that. So driving, why? Because we're stopping.
We're stopping.
To do
pausing.
Something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
So I felt that, a lot of those stories came out, and I found myself a lot of times calling Jeremy. As soon as I landed, the first person I would call would be Jeremy and say, hey, this incredible story that came about, do you want to talk about it now? Do you want to talk about it later? And he would stop whatever he was doing and turn on the recorder and just start taking notes. And I would walk him through with what I remembered experiencing in those moments. And then a lot of those stories I shared with my wife, and she kind of guided me in a way that she said, maybe you should leave that one out. Maybe you should put that one in. And some of them made it in that, she said, don't put it in there. But some of them made them in anyways, because I felt it was important as part of my story, It was very important that I think she was the first person that said, it's getting too much that it looks like it may be villainizing your father. And I didn't want that at all. I didn't want the book to make my father into this monster of a human, because he had so many incredibly great aspects of his life and great traits of who he is as a human too. But he was fighting demons his whole life as well, as we all do. And she was like, that's how I took that very serious from her. And I told Jeremy, I said, please, let's shape this book in a way that it doesn't villainize my father, because, he is an incredible man as well. So
I think you were successful at that.
I think
because
so,
you also
too.
shared a lot of touching stories, and then obviously, right, I won't say it, so that way you have to read the book, but right down to the last letter.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
right down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are the
and
things
your feelings about it. So I thought that was very touching, touching way to kind of end that part of the story.
I wish I would have had those, said to me instead of written down. But at this point, I'll take what I can get.
I know.
I'll take a handwritten note. It's still somebody taking that time to put down their thoughts on paper. So it's not like it's just meaningless,
right?
And it's in a piece of paper. But boy, would it had been great to grow up listening to some of those.
And also the note in his wallet.
Yeah,
that was I like that one.
Very special.
So those kind of parts, I think you did a good job with that. With you were saying the truth as raw as you said you were. You were very honest, and then you put in a lot of those moments that I thought were very touching. So you've shared the most difficult chapters in your life publicly. Has vulnerability become easier with age?
Yes, I think you get to a certain age where you just don't give a shit anymore. You just don't. It's like we spend a lot of our lives as young kids and young adults to filter, and we're so worried about what other people think, and we're worried about how we're portrayed in the world. And at the end of the day, we're all going to the same place. We're all going to die. And what's left? What is your legacy? And for me, like, I think just having that brutal honesty out there and not hiding behind it. I was very ashamed of that story for a very, very long time. And there was so many people in my life that I had told my parents they live in Ohio, and nobody really knew. There was a lot of people that didn't know that were close to me. I was ashamed of that story because and I don't know why I was ashamed of it, because it was my story, but I didn't create that story.
Right.
It was my father created that story, but I hid in those shadows for a very long time, and I got tired of hiding like that. I got tired of standing in the shadows of, that story. And I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. I need to live. I need to be able to live my life. And I part of the reason why I wrote Fireproof was because I wanted a place to put it down on paper. And I felt like that was a way to kind of put it to rest and just put it on the shelf. It's there if I want to pick it up. It's there if my daughters or family or anybody wants to read it. There's great inspiration in there as well. It's not just a tragic story, but it's how do you come from shit to build an incredible empire. So there's all of that in between as well. And, it's, it is what it is, I guess.
What do you hope your legacy?
That I was an incredible father, incredible husband, and ultimately an incredible restaurateur, chef, and that I was fair, but a very demanding and driven individual. Somebody who, is relentless in what they do and a man of their words. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And for me, that's so important, and loyalty as well. I want to be known for that.
I think you're on your way.
I'm working on it every day.
Let's change. Let's be a little happier here.
Yes, please.
Tell me about Velvet 86 and how do you even find the time? What is that?
Everything in life, you got to find time that you feel is important.
Yeah. These are like the fun questions.
Yeah. Velvet 86 came about, I was in my 20s, I started drumming and I quickly realized my neighbors fucking hate me because I would play the drums and it's goddamn loud and nobody likes the drums.
But not at 2 a.m., right?
Well, I mean,
oh, you were doing it at 2 a.m.
That's part of it too. But, even at noon, it's just enough is enough, right?
Right.
For me, like Sundays were my days off. So that was my, and everybody else's days off too.
Right.
So
to chill.
nobody wants
with
to
drum
hear.
sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I quickly gave that up, but I've always been in love with the bass, always, and never had one, but was always in tune with hearing the bass. My music genre was heavily in that world of a heavy bass lift or a heavy bass line in every song. That's kind of where I went towards. So I got to a point where I kept always talking with Jeremy. Jeremy happens to have a few bands and is very successful in his own world of heavy metal and death metal. And he's a guitarist, and we're just always talking about music back and forth. And he surprised me one day with a bass. So he went out and bought a bass for me. And he said, "Here, now it's up to you to learn how to play it.
Stop talking about it.
Stop talking
Be
about it. Be about it." And I'm like, God, yes, finally. So I said, you know what? It sat there for a little bit. And then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna start taking lessons. So I found a gentleman, took a couple lessons. It didn't work out. The vibe wasn't there. So I reached back out to Jeremy and said, "Hey, do you have anybody that you know?" And he said, "Let me ask my guitarist. He'll know somebody." So he reached out to his guitarist named Matt. And Matt's like, "Hey, I teach at a school and I have a good friend, Tom. He teaches bass. That's all he does, teach bass. And he's in a million bands too." So he put us in contact and the connection was immediate. Like I immediately knew as soon as I took a lesson from this guy that he was going to be my teacher, my mentor for as long as I needed it to be. And so that was 2 years ago. And we went on and we've been, taking lessons. I've been taking lessons from him. Sometimes it was on pretty consistent on a weekly basis. And then as travel came about, it's certainly slowed down and then picked it back up. And so we got to a point, he's like, "Man, we need to get you to play and we need to get you a recital, if you will. We need to get you on stage and play."
Right.
So I'm like, that's exciting. Let's do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this place called the Drunken Donut. It's out in Joliet. And it's kind of like everybody gets their first round. It's like an open mic on Wednesday nights. So we went there and we played.
But you already had, so you had a singer, because it's 4 of you, right?
Yeah. So his wife, Becky, plays harmonica and sings. And she has an incredible voice. And he reached out to one of his friends named Armando for drums. And Armando's like, I don't know, maybe, let's see, send me the set list and I'll see if I can do it. He did it. The 4 of us gelled very quickly, of course. And we decided, hey, that was kind of fun. Do we want to continue this? And then we all agreed, let's continue it. And then we just started playing gigs. We just started playing shows. And then...
So you do like monthly now? Or because I don't even know how you find the time.
Yeah, we do monthly. We do rehearsal, and practice probably 2 to 3 times a month. We get together, maybe sometimes more. And then we have after we do live music on Wednesday nights. So Velvet 86 does every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. 7 to 9 on Wednesday nights.
That's cool. And it's something for you to look forward to.
Yeah. And it gives, for me, like that's another outlet for me. Like a lot of people speak about burnout and I just get burned out at cooking. I can't do this. I think the balance for me is like being able to find stuff that I love to do outside of the cooking world, whether it's playing the bass or riding motorcycles or riding dirt bikes in the mountains. And, we're training for a half Ironman. And, it's those moments that keeps me from being burnt out in the restaurant.
For sure.
I think I've always had that mentality. It's like, it was martial arts for a long time, and then it was bass guitar. So it's trying to find things that keep you young and interested in things other than just cooking. Because
I know you
just did one thing for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course you're gonna get burnt out.
Okay, most controversial food opinion.
Opinion or trend?
Well, my next question is, what food trend do you hope never comes back?
Oh, that's an even better one.
Okay, now you got two.
Restaurants that serve tarts, little tartlets.
Oh, I like tartlets.
Every restaurant.
It's true.
Here, the opening menu has 15 fucking tarts on it, tartlets on it. It drives me crazy. It's just, I don't know. I'm just so sick of seeing it. We never jumped onto that bandwagon, but every restaurant in the damn world serves you a little tartlet.
But I do get excited when I see a little tart. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe because they're cute and little, and
I don't know.
You could kind of anticipate, maybe not what's in it, but I don't know.
Yeah, you understand what it is.
You understand what it is.
That's why they're so friendly. But
I get it.
I'd love to see it disappear.
All right. No controversial food opinion.
Not that I could think of. Maybe I'll give it some thought as we continue.
Other than your dislike for the black cod sperm, which I agree.
I don't say that I hate it. It's just not something that I would order. I guess octopus would be one of them.
Okay.
I won't do octopus anymore. Mm-hmm. They're too intelligent.
Everyone keeps telling me that, and then I don't want to watch that, whatever that documentary is.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like I'm not going to eat octopus anymore.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Oh, God. Okay. What is the best meal you've had recently that you didn't cook?
Oh, man. It's been a couple of years. Oh, it's been maybe last year. I ate a great meal at Vespertine in LA.
Oh, I haven't been.
With Jordan Kahn's restaurant. Incredible meal there. Very thought-provoking, very forward-thinking, avant-garde, everything expected from Jordan. And it was a great meal. Great meal.
Any guilty food pleasures?
I love candy. That's why we got that damn candy room. It's a problem.
Do you go?
Where's the chef? Check the candy room?
To your point, I was just going to say, do you ever go to?
Oh, I do. I sneak up there, and I always tell the staff, don't get caught sneaking in there. But
where is he? By the gummy bears.
I'm the first one in there. Absolutely right.
But I've always said I need to. For example, I love Cuban bakery, so I love pastelitos and all that.
I love pastelitos.
Right?
Too. Yes.
What is your favorite?
Oh God, probably guava and cream cheese.
And cheese, same. Yeah. So I always say I love it so much because I feel like I could eat endless amount of it. I just need to work at a bakery for like a year, and then so I could get sick of it. But I'm friends with my friend Amy who owns Vicky Bakery, and she says, newsflash, this is my life, and I'm still not sick of it. I'm like, she's like, think of it. She says though, we grew up with this. So just like we don't get tired of like black beans and rice and noodles and stuff like that. She's like, we're not gonna get sick of it. I'm like.
My wife gets sometimes, and she knows I love it. We call it a milfouille, but it's the puff pastry.
Oh,
with
la señorita. Señorita.
Yes, that's it. She always gets me one of those.
That is a favorite too. I know those are good. Do you like the chocolate or the vanilla?
I like the vanilla. I know it's pretty basic, but
no, that's the one I like.
So good.
I like it over the chocolate.
So good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that could be something. Some candy. Most expensive ingredient that you personally don't get excited about?
I would say foie gras.
Okay.
Foie gras. Yeah, probably. I don't serve it anymore. I think I served so much of it back in the day with other restaurants that you just get sick of it. You're like, all right, I don't need to see foie gras ever
because
again.
You're going to expect uni and you're going to expect foie gras and you're going to expect caviar. It's true.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
What does a perfect day look like for you?
Perfect day. I think spending the day with my wife, being able to just relax and have an amazing cup of coffee in the morning and just hang out, maybe watch some TV. Things that I never get to do are the things that I think make a perfect day. You know, it's just chilling and relaxing with the wife, and then, you know, ultimately the family at nighttime, making them dinner, or maybe even having them make me dinner. My wife is, she doesn't say that she's a good cook, but she is a really good cook. And it's nice to have somebody cook for you. And it could be the very simplest things. It could be a grilled cheese. It could be, you know, a roasted chicken. It's as long as it's the idea of somebody giving it and took the time to make it for you.
With love, yeah. It tastes different when it tastes different.
Yeah, it tastes different.
Let's talk. Great segue to my Florida section, the last section in the interview. Tell me about your wife, your Cuban wife from Miami, and your unorthodox approach to your life, because you're based out of Chicago and she's based out of Florida.
Correct.
And how that works.
Yeah, we do split our time between Chicago and Miami. So we do quite a bit of traveling. You know, we're back and forth. She's majority back and forth. You know, she's blessed enough to work remotely, so she can come to Chicago and work remotely and still get what she needs to get done and accomplished. And I can do the same thing on the days that I'm off. I can get down to Miami, spend a few days down there, enjoy the weather, kind of disconnect, recharge. That's kind of like my place to just recharge the batteries, you know, especially in the wintertime when it's, you know, 30 degrees here and it's gloomy. It's beautifully 75 and sunny in Miami. So it's a great place to be. And, you know, my wife always says I'm the happiest when I'm down there. And I think only because, well, there's many reasons. One, because she's there, but two, it's like it is a disconnect from the restaurant
and
world.
It's so
the
different.
Stress is
and it's
a
so
lot
different
different.
too.
Yeah.
Any favorite Miami restaurants?
We don't go out a lot. We do have this little Cuban place down the street from us called Little Havana, and we order from there quite a bit. And we do a lot of the cooking at home. I do a lot of the cooking at home. It's easy for us. I'm blanking on the name of the new place that we go to. She loves it. It's in the Four Seasons in
Fort Lauderdale?
No, not Fort Lauderdale. It's in
the Surf Club?
Surf Club.
Or Lido? The Surf Club or Lido?
Lido.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's one of her favorite places.
And the bar, the champagne bar, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That room. Tell me that room's not stunning.
It's
you walk
so
in
iconic, like, Miami, right? It's so like old school
glamour.
Deco. Yeah, it's like, I love that. It's fashion forward. It's amazing.
There's just something, I just love walking in. And
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the champagne bar and Surf Club, the other side.
Yeah,
it's
for
amazing.
sure.
Oh yeah, but Lido's great too.
Lido's great because it's, you know, it's every time we've been there, and we've been there a lot.
Yeah.
It's very consistent and friendly and fast, and they welcome us. Thomas has done it incredibly well. Thomas Keller has done that incredibly well.
He's definitely an icon.
Absolutely.
When people think of great American dining cities, Chicago always enters the conversation. Can Florida get there?
Florida can certainly get there eventually. Yeah. I mean, it will take some time, but nothing's off the table. I mean, there's a lot of great restaurants in Miami. I mean, it has to. Yeah, it'll get there. I mean, the money is there. The finances are there to obtain all of that and continue to build great restaurants. It's going to be up to the restaurateurs to take risks and build great restaurants. And it's also going to take a community to support them.
I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Dining out all the time. No, yeah, you're
exactly. Because, you know, we always say this a lot is, you know, what makes Chicago such a great food city is the ability that, you know, we have international travelers from all over the world, but just the local alone always support the restaurants. They go out and dine. They're out and eating. Same as New York. They're out and eating in the restaurants.
That's one of our biggest problems is that we have the international clientele, the diners, but then the locals are going to the shiny import restaurants and they're
Right.
not
It's a
supporting
place
the
to be
local
seen.
right for a month until the next new one opens, and then no one is going back. Even our Michelin-starred restaurants, like
Right.
like the ones that are the smaller. Well, we only really have like smaller concepts, you know. So you have like Stubborn Seed and Ariette and stuff. Those are our restaurants. They're Miami Michelin-starred restaurants. You have to go support the smaller ones.
Yeah, you do.
You know,
You have to. And
before you could.
And you nailed it right. It was like, that is the downfall of Miami. It's like, you're hot for a moment and then you're not. And then when you're not, it's like,
And it's very easy to not because everyone's
it is because everybody else is looking
Oh,
for the
look,
new
a
shiny,
squirrel. Yeah.
the new shiny one over
and
there.
everything's shiny all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's every restaurant's $1 billion, you know, operation, and it's bizarre. And then they close 6 months
Yeah.
later.
It's a shame. It really is a shame.
But you're right, locals, and not only the Michelin-star restaurants.
Got to get out and support them.
Gotta get out and support them all, like your favorites. Like everyone always says, like, oh, they closed. Well, when did you go?
Yeah.
When was the last time you went?
Exactly right.
You're so sad, but you didn't go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly
You gotta
right.
go. Okay, what do you want my listeners to know that I didn't cover? If anything, I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm good. I think you did an amazing job. Yeah, I don't think
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything else that I need to talk about, really. Unless there's more for you.
No, I think we're good. I
Good.
want listeners to obviously pick up your book and learn everything about you if they don't already. And this is hopefully a supplement to
Absolutely.
that. And then introduce you to my Florida audience who maybe is not as familiar.
I love
You,
it.
but I do love
it.
your Miami connection. Thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time
you.
to speak with me today and come in so early. I know you were probably off yesterday, right?
No,
No,
well,
you weren't off?
We weren't off. We had
You
the-
work on Mondays? You're open Mondays?
Well, we had the James Beard
that
party
night.
last night at after,
I had known nothing about that party.
and I was working during the day. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, that's it for this special edition episode. Please take a second and share your favorite episode with your friends. Always keep those wine glasses full and your reservations booked. Locals. From my palate to yours. Cheers. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you so much.